Happy Sunday afternoon and welcome to the Rewards Master Live. All right, we had several who are waiting to get in, and so that's exciting. Let me see who's here so far. James, 5802, channel member. Welcome, James. It says, Happy Sunday. I did not get my Amex United Travel Bank credit from the Business Platinum card. Per Reddit, it no longer works. Kind of sad. Oh, well. Okay, that's confusing to me and it's disconcerting to me at the same time. The reason it's confusing is I did it about 2 weeks ago and I got on a Business Platinum card and I did it in $200 increments and I got my money. So I don't know. I don't know what the deal is with that. Secondly, it's disconcerting to me because that is the best way to use that credit. So that would devalue the card significantly if that didn't work anymore. But I will say there have been times in the past it didn't work for a little while and then it came back. So just I'd give it a little time. Thanks, James, for that. Free Music says, greetings, Reward Master. Free Music, good to have you here with us. A-Tier 50, channel member, says, happy Sunday, y'all. Good to have you here, A-Tier. Cogito Ergosum says, happy Sunday, everybody. Good to hear you here, Cogito. And Family Travel John, also a channel member, says, good afternoon and happy Sunday, all. Happy Sunday to you, John. Great to have you here. And the man, Mike Newland, channel member, not only channel member, he is a Spreadsheet Warrior tier channel member. Good to have you here, Mike. You're always so great to be here and support the channel. Appreciate it. Tampa Travel, channel member. Afternoon, Bop. Afternoon to you. Nurcan, off in here. Good to have you. Again, sorry we didn't catch up in Vegas. That would have been very cool. Stacy's Travel Points, happy Sunday. Here for a short bit before my son's games start. Yeah, okay. Usually you're cooking on Sunday afternoon. I think you're the one who always says that. So, and then Eat, Sleep, and Points. Woohoo! 3-day weekend. That's great. That's great. All right. Well, let me see how many. We got 27 in here. That's pretty good in the first couple minutes. If you haven't hit the like button, and of course, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, do both of those things. I think some people have liked it. So that would be great. Well, today what I have on board is, I'm going to pull up the PowerPoint here in a second, but what I have on board is I'm planning to, I did a bunch of research yesterday, and so this is going to be a little more Dugras-esque than typically we have here on the channel because it's going to involve quite a bit of math, and I did some research, but I've noticed that I seem to be the only one in the space who is encouraging people to hoard points in the mainline airline programs. In fact, except for American, nobody really thinks well, I guess that was too, that there's much value in it. And nobody ever wants people to hoard. It's all earn and burn. But my philosophy is very, very different because I want to have a lot of points in a lot of places so I can be buying tickets and canceling tickets and all this. Because on my when I went to Korea, I bought 8 tickets by the time I ended up being there and just canceled them when I got better. So it's like I'm inching up day by day, getting a better deal, right? And to do that, you got to have a lot of points, but you got to do it, first of all, in programs that allow you to have absolutely free cancellations. And so that's the first caveat. So you can't do it with Air Canada, and you can't do it with Air France, and you can't do it with, Etihad and some of these. You've got to do it with certain ones. But no one's ever talking about this. So what I thought is I need to do to study it out, because everybody says, I hear it all the time. Well, if you want good deals on business and first class redemptions, then you need to book 330 days in advance. That's kind of the magic number, or a year in advance. Sometimes they'll say. So what I did was I went through and I picked 330 days from yesterday. And then I picked 2 days from yesterday. So that would be tomorrow. So in 2 days versus 330 days. And I had ChatGPT spit me out 10 random destinations from the US. And I searched from any city. So kind of inherent in this is willing to do a repositioning flight to anywhere in the US. And then where could you go? And I found the best price. And I compared all of those numbers. So that's what we're going to look at in just a minute. All right, let me see who's in here now. We got 29 in here watching, it looks like. Kevin Hawthorne, always good to have Kevin here. Says good hello from Lakeland, Florida. Good to have you here, Kevin. James, oops, I forgot to say that add a February 6th for the business credit Amex per Reddit. So who knows? Oops, forgot to say as of February 6th per Reddit. So who knows? Okay, yeah. I mean, mine was before February 6th. So that's true. Chad's Money Minutes. Yo, Chad, I'm sorry I was only in the last few minutes of your live yesterday. I didn't catch it until I was driving back, actually, and I didn't catch it. But then I caught it there at the end. So it was good, though. Do you use SkyKey? I do not. But that's from Takaturn. Good to have you here. Free music. I'm going to use the technique for business class flight from LAX to LHR. Okay, good. Good. Yeah, I mean, nobody talks about it, though. I mean, it's just such a cool thing. I do it all the time. Switching between AA and UA. Yeah, you can do it with United. It's not as effective as AA, which you're going to see here in the slides, but you can do it with United as well. Okay, looks like we got 30 watching and 11 have hit the like button. So if you do that and any kind of super chat, super sticker, even it's just 99 cents, that helps out to the algorithm to get more people in here, and always like to have more people in here. So it'd be good. All right, I'm going to add to the stage our slides for today. And when it comes to our slides for today, I've kind of highlighted the things we're going to talk about, new developments. Also, let me see, let me see, I don't know what I did here. Let me get myself back. There we go. All right, so we have new developments, and we're not going to do the restaurant rewards today. We're not going to do the center. We are going to do the centerpiece, and that's going to be this 2 days versus 330-day comparison. And then upcoming travel, I got a couple little redemptions to talk about there as well. So I hope you all hang out for all of that. New developments, Bilt. I'm nervous about paying my mortgage with Bilt. I think a lot of people are. And so I did 2 test payments. I did a very small test payment, and I did another very small test payment of a slightly different amount so I could tell the difference when they come through. My first test payment with Bilt was just going in there. It kind of found my mortgage, auto-detected my mortgage. I made sure the numbers were right, and I sent an electronic payment. So it pulled it out of my account, my bank account, and then it sent it, and it took a while. I mean, in fact, it went through, and I counted it. It was 4 business days later, so on the 5th business day. So I hope that's a good data point for anybody who's wondering about this. On the 5th business day, it went through. Then I had a check cut, so a physical check mailed, and I put in all the information like I wanted it to say in the memo line, like what my loan number was and who I was and what the address was and all that. And I'm still waiting on that one. So I don't know how many days that'll be. So I'll report back in the future on that. Okay. Eat, sleep, and points. United's nice. Okay. Yeah, they can be. I like United Polaris a lot. Okay, let me dive into some of this. The centerpiece of our discussion today. U.S. carriers with no cancel fees, 330 days bookings versus 2 days bookings. So, as I mentioned, when it comes to conventional wisdom in the credit card space, and I guess that this makes sense that I'm talking about this and others aren't, because I'm kind of the guy who on many things goes against the grain or the conventional wisdom. But conventional wisdom says 2 things that I'm going to disagree with profoundly here. And number 1 is that you should always earn and burn all of your points. You don't need a stack of points. You should earn them and you should burn them, because if you don't, then they're going to lose out to inflation. But here's the thing though. Let's say you live in a place where there is a great flea market, okay? And in this flea market, sometimes every now and again, they get things that are just amazing deals, like a refrigerator, a dented refrigerator that still works great for $100 or some crazy deal, right? But yet you don't want your money in your bank account to inflate, so you spend every dime in your bank account every single month. I mean, you realize that's the exact same thing that they're saying is soon as you earn your money, your points, you need to burn your money, your points. Well, nobody follows that philosophy with life, with real money. Nobody does that because you might need some real money for other things. Think about how terrible financial advice that would be in regular finances. Is every time you earn anything, you need to spend it right away. I mean, what kind of financial advisor would tell people to do that? But that is the conventional wisdom that as soon as you earn it, you should burn it. But what if you lived in a place with this great flea market and you needed points, you needed money so that when those great deals came, you had the money to buy them? You see, that's what I'm advocating. Not that people just hoard points as like a Scrooge McDuck and just want to get just have it grow because you're not going to get interest on your points. I'm not meaning that, but I mean have a plan where you have plenty of points so that when the deals come, you're ready and you can buy them. And deals do come. So that's the first piece of conventional wisdom that I'm going to profoundly disagree with. The second piece of conventional wisdom is you're always going to get the best deal when you book farther out. And I think I'm going to be able to prove that here because farther out is typically considered close to a year down to when they open up, which is about 330 days. So what I did is I had ChatGPT spit me out random destinations from the US. So if you would reposition what's the best deal from anywhere in the US to random destinations, vacation spots, 10 different vacation spots around the world. And then I took 330 days from yesterday. So that's January the 10th, 2027. And then I also compared it to February the 16th, 2026, which is tomorrow. So 2 days from yesterday. So what kind of difference is there between 330 days out and 2 days out? Is that conventional wisdom that you're always going to get a better deal farther out? Is that true or is it not? So let's see. Let me go back up and check out some of the comments. We got 42 in here watching. That's a good deal. Okay, Tom Bagwell. Hey, Tom, good to have you here. My mortgage cleared. It found both mortgages and paid the unpaid one. I haven't received points yet, though Bilt charged me Bilt cash. Okay. Well, maybe that'll get ironed out. I don't know. I'm not far enough along in mine to see if I get the points, but mine was a tiny amount, so I wasn't quite sure. Hybrid Vortex. Hello, Rewards Master. Good to have you here, Vortex. Always glad to have you here. Dim. Hey, Dim. How are you doing, bud? Good to have you here. Tulare 73. Hello, Bop, and everyone here. Good to have you, channel member Tulare. Dim. Busy Sunday. Just popping in to say hello. We'll catch the replay. That sounds good. We're talking about redemptions today. Eat, sleep, and points. Do not spend ASAP. Do not spend ASAP. Yeah, that's what we're talking about today. SJDP. Good to have you, SJD. Something wrong with saving points towards a specific redemption. If that's nothing wrong with saving points for specific redemption, if that's what you have your eye on, cents per point isn't everything. Yeah, I mean, I agree. But it's also nothing wrong, and that's going to be my argument with saving points because you know you're going to find a better deal, which I always find a better deal as time goes by. So I think we're on the same page. Tampa Travel. Bilt customer service lines will light up when folks don't allow enough time for mortgage and rent payments to go through. My test payment through Venmo took 72 hours. It used to post right away. Yeah, the system's definitely different than it was. And then Stinky Monkey Baby, best name on YouTube. Channel member says, hi, everyone. Happy to tune in. Well, good to have you here, Stinky or Monkey. Or I'll call you Monkey. How's that? All right. Let me go back to this and show you what I'm talking about. So, as I said, challenging those two assertions. First of all, that it's always smartest to earn and burn. Second of all, that it's always the best to book way out instead of in the very, very near future. Now, I am going to say this. I do think that it's best to either book way out or very quickly, last minute. Because if you go in between like that 3 or 4 month in between time, I do think you're going to kind of not get as good a deal, but I think that's very true. All right. So the first destination I checked was Sydney. Now, a little disclaimer. For the first 4 that I checked, I was also checking Delta because I didn't want to give Delta the raw deal in that just assuming, well, Delta has really bad redemption. So I'm not even going to count them. Well, they do have really good cancellation policies, right? You can cancel a Delta flight right at the last minute. So for me, it's like, well, I need to give them a chance. But I quit after the 4th thing of working it up because every single one, whether it was 330 days out or 2 days out, Delta was coming in at 250 to 450,000 points every single time. So I'm like, I'm not going to waste my time looking these up every single time. But here is what I did look at. The 3 airlines, and somebody could include JetBlue. I just never fly JetBlue, so I didn't look at them. But the 3 big airline points programs that have no cancellation fees. Now, somebody might say Atmos does, because Atmos does have that $12.50 booking fee that you lose unless you have the Summit card, but it's $12.50. So I'm not going to hold that against them here. So what we have is we have American Airlines, United, and Atmos. And I think you're going to see a pattern here that kind of surprised me, to be honest. So 330 days out, Sydney, Australia. So that would have been, like I said, I think the 10th of January, 2027. AA was bad. And this was the worst one on AA, period. To get to Sydney, the best flight deal I found was 450. These are all business class tickets. 450,000 points and $33 from DFW. So not good at all. But get this. 2 days, so that's tomorrow. So you can buy a ticket unless it's sold right now, tomorrow, to Sydney, Australia in business class from DFW for 80,000 points and $45 in taxes and fees. And I think that's on Qantas. Well, I think so. So, I mean, look at the difference. So 330 days out, 450,000 points. Tomorrow is 80,000 points. It's wild. United, same thing kind of is true going to Sydney, Australia. United, 350,000 points for 330 days from now. $37 in taxes and fees from Chicago. But tomorrow, it's only 100,000. So less than 1/3 of the price it was before. I mean, the Americans is less than 1/4 of what it was. $37 in taxes and fees also from Chicago. Now, Atmos was kind of hard on this one because Atmos was 400,000 points and $60, 330 days out. And I put NA because they didn't have anything that could be bought last minute on this particular destination, which is Sydney. So that's where we're at. That's the first one. This is how I'm going to do all 10 of these. So there we go. Big difference. Big difference in flying to Sydney, Australia, 330 days from now and flying tomorrow. If you fly tomorrow, it's either 1/3 or 1/4 as many points. So I find that very, very, very interesting. Okay. SJDP gifts 5 Reward Master memberships. Thank you. Thank you. You got me over the other day. Y'all got me over the 100 mark, and I think this will put me probably over 110. So I think it was 107 channel members. So this is going to be awesome. So I'm hoping you're enjoying the channel membership and all of my members only videos. Kiki says, happy Sunday. Hey, Key, good to see you. Key and I will be doing a live. I think it's coming up this Friday night together. So I hope y'all will tune into that. We got some good topics to discuss. Random question. Should Chick-fil-A play commercials on Sundays? Well, I guess that's up to their conscience. So they don't serve any. It doesn't seem right that they get to advertise to us and they don't serve us food on Sundays, though, does it? SJG Summit card for the win. Yep, it's a pretty good card. I mean, even just that $12.50 every time would save me a lot. I pay that a lot because I like to book and cancel. So Jay Kelsey, Summit Card strikes again for awesomeness. Yep, it's awesome. Source King, if you can book 355 days in advance, you can pretty much guarantee yourself an ANA first class ticket from North America to Tokyo for 110,000 airplane points. Yeah, well, that's true. That's true, Source King. And there are a lot of deals like that. And I found a lot of good deals. But my purpose in this is I wanted to show in the programs that you can cancel for free. So that's why I'm only looking at AA, United, and Atmos. Because, like, for instance, if you were to do that with Aeroplan, then you're going to be stuck with that situation, which I wouldn't mind being stuck with that. But there's no doubt that's a better redemption than any of these. And if you look with Aeroplan or even Air France and some of those, you're going to find better redemptions all over the place than these. But these are under the caveat of last minute bookings and easily cancelable. So you're going to get all your money back. So that's kind of what I'm trying to examine in this. Free Music says, I will say that flying Iberia to Spain, it pays to book as soon as reward flights are released. I know you're only looking at domestic carriers, but it's nice to know how foreign carriers operate also. Yeah, and that's going to be true of a lot of the foreign carriers. And I'm only looking at the foreign carrier, not looking at foreign carriers, because I don't know of a foreign carrier that doesn't have cancellation fees. Does anybody know of one? I would put them on the list and I would consider them because that would be very valuable to me. But I just don't know any foreign carriers that have that policy. All right, let's look at the next destination, Dubai. All right, Dubai. This again is 330 days out and 2 days out. Now it's starting to look more interesting because American Airlines is the exact same price in points, but a very different price in taxes and fees. So from JFK, 330 days out, you can book for 70,000 points. And I think that's probably on Etihad. And you get it's $330 in taxes and fees from JFK. But tomorrow, AA is 70,000 points, and it's only $49 in taxes and fees from ORD. So I have no idea why. It's literally the same price in points, but it's like 1/6 of the price in money as far as taxes and fees if you leave in 2 days versus if you leave in 330 days. So strange. Then you have United. United was exactly the same. Their best deal, 330 days, was 220,000 points, $12 from Chicago. Again, 2 days from now, same thing. 220,000 points, $12 from Chicago. So nothing to write home about. Not impressive any way you slice it. I'm not paying 220,000 points for a one-way business class ticket to the moon. I mean, I'm just not going to pay that. Atmos, again, same thing. 150,000 points, which is a really rotten deal with Atmos. I mean, it's just not good with Atmos points. I would never spend 150,000 Atmos points on a business class when you can find it so much cheaper. And you'll see that here as we get farther along. And $57 from Boston. And that was true 330 days out and 2 days out. Okay. Let's see. Silver 3ism says for ANA, you can book first class on their own program for about a week out for $75K. Does have cancellation fees though. Yep. And Free Music, Iberia charges $40 to cancel. Okay. So that'd be $40 per person, right? And which isn't bad compared to a lot of the other programs, but certainly not as good as it could be. All right. We got about 50 watching and about 16 have hit the like button. Remember, please hit the like button. That's 16 out of 50 is not a lot. So it would help if you would hit the like button real quick. And any super chats, super stickers, gifted memberships, any of that helps with the algorithm to draw more people in as well. And it's greatly appreciated. Okay, the next one is Santiago, Chile. So this one kind of surprised me because I thought going to South America from North America would end up being less expensive, and it kind of wasn't, which was strange. So it was interestingly 103,000 points and $11 from DFW, 330 days out. But this one was wild. I found an 11,000 point flight for $11 from Miami, 11,000 versus 103,000. And that is the cheapest business class flight on this list, period. But it was kind of an anomaly, so kind of a weird off that maybe it was even a mistake fare. I don't know. But then United, again, was $220,000, same price from Chicago, $12 in taxes and fees. And Atmos, again, $150,000 from Boston, both times, $57 in taxes and fees. So again, we have American with just a huge spread of $103,000 if you're 330 days out, and just $11,000 if you're just 1 day away. So what a weird situation. Then we go to Paris. Now for Paris, now it starts to get very interesting because some of these just don't work as well for Asia, Oceania, South America, but they got it dialed in for Europe. So with American Airlines, 330 days out, you could spend 57,000 points from JFK and $14 in taxes and fees. Now, I'm going to say on both Atmos and American, I did exclude many times the least expensive because the least expensive points was almost always on British Airways, and it had almost $1,000 in taxes and fees. And I'm just not going to consider those. That's ridiculous. So I excluded those out. So these are non-BA flights or some that include partial BA flights. In other words, one of the legs is BA, but the taxes and fees are very low. So 57K, these are, I think they're 57.5, but still 57K, $14 JFK. 2 days out from Chicago, $57,000, $55, which is still very reasonable, slightly more just the next day. So if you want to get to Paris on American Airlines, you can do it for 57,000 points, whether it's a year from now or tomorrow. United, though, this was interesting. United was 159,000 points and $5.60 from EWR, which is, of course, New Jersey, New York. And 2 days from now, so tomorrow, there would be 88,000 points, $23 in taxes and fees, also from New Jersey. So this is a recurring theme with United, is United, they have that Saver Award rate, and their bottom rate is basically that 88,000 points. That's what it is. I think if you have their credit card, you might be able to get it for 80,000 points. At least that's the way it used to be. I don't know if it's still that way or not. But 88,000 points is kind of their bottom, which is not near as good as 55 and 45 and 57, but it's still like, not great. But they seem to have a lot more of that award rate, of that Saver Award, in flights that are coming up in the next couple days than they do those that are almost a year out. So I find that interesting, that the reason I'm including United here, even though the deals aren't usually as good, is because they do open up that Saver Award rate. Even though their Saver Award's not as good, they open it up seemingly quite a bit. And this one was kind of proof of it. Now, this one's interesting. In Atmos, 330 days out, you could save, if you flew out of Boston, you could get it for 45,000 points in business class with $18, taxes and fees. But if you went tomorrow, it would be a little bit more. It'd be 55,000 points with $18 in taxes and fees from Miami. So you're going up just a little bit, but still a very, very, very good redemption. Okay, let's see if we have any comments. 46 are watching, 24 have hit the like button. Excellent. Yeah, I don't think we have any newer comments. So, all right, let's go to the next one. Barcelona, Spain. One place that Nona and I have not, we've been to Spain, Madrid and all that, but not to Barcelona yet, but I hear it's beautiful. We want to go. So going to Barcelona, Spain, 330 days out on AA, you can get there for 57,000. It's like 57.5, but 57,000 plus $14 in taxes and fees, leaving out of JFK. So that's a good rate. Tomorrow, in other words, on the 2-day schedule, you can get there for 57,000 and $55 in taxes and fees from Chicago. So again, kind of the same story we saw with Paris, is that it's going to cost you slightly more in taxes and fees, but the same price, which is 57,000 is a pretty good price. United, again, the same story, 200,000, 330 days out, $59 in taxes and fees from IAD, which is, of course, Washington, D.C. But if you wait and you fly 2 days from now, in other words, fly tomorrow, 88,000 points, $26 in taxes and fees from Boston. So it goes less than half if you're flying close in. And in Atmos 330 days out, 55,000 points, $34 from DFW. And this one gets a little cheaper, 55,000 points, $18 in taxes and fees from Miami with 2 days. So here, both, and this will be a consistent theme that came out throughout it all. And that is that to Europe, American and Atmos are kind of pretty consistent. And even United is pretty consistent in having its award saver rate, which is not as good as the other two saver rate, but it is better than their regular rates, pretty consistently at the 2-day mark versus, but both AA and Atmos are pretty good prices either way and have quite a bit of availability, it seems like. Okay, before we get to Prague, let me see. Still not a lot of more comments, but we still have 47 in here watching. I'm assuming all of y'all are just kind of soaking up all this data. I hope that's helpful to you. Okay, the next airport that we're going to try to fly to is Prague. So to Prague, I start to get into a few of them here where I didn't have a lot of data. I couldn't find some flights with some of them. But at 330 days, American Airlines, only $57, but it is $167 in taxes and fees from DFW. So there's that. This one had to include some British Airways to get you there. Then you have 2 days out, the same exact numbers, 57,000 points, $167 in taxes and fees from DFW. United, I couldn't even find a flight to Prague in business class 330 days out. Couldn't find one. But interestingly enough, one opened up for tomorrow. So in the 2-day out range for 88,000 points, $72 in taxes and fees from EWR. So if you fly to New Jersey. So that one opened up. So that's their kind of their lowest rate you're going to find on business class on United. And then Atmos, this one was interesting because if you book way out, it's 102,000 points, $135 from JFK. But if you book tomorrow, it's only 70,000 points, $32 in taxes and fees from DFW, which I don't really understand because Atmos and AA are in the same alliance. So you would think that they would also have their 55,000 rate, but they don't. They have a 70,000 point rate. So here, AA ends up being cheaper in the last minute. Let me see if I have any more comments. Doesn't look like anybody else has commented. Okay. Next one, Tokyo. So to Tokyo, American Airlines, 330 days out. I found $60 and $11 in taxes and 60,000 points, $11 in taxes and fees from Atlanta, strangely enough. So that's flying on JAL metal. So you got to do a positioning. You're flying the first leg on AA and then you're flying JAL metal, which would be awesome in business class. 2 days out, I also found 60,000 points, $11 in taxes and fees from DFW, also on Japan Airlines. Now, let me be very clear, though. Some of these only had one seat available, so that's important to note. Then there's United. United had nothing 330 days out. Now, we're talking business class. If you were flying in there's tons of stuff available in economy, but nothing in business. 2 days out, though, 100,000 points, and $5.60 from Chicago. Now, that doesn't sound great because it's not as good as 60 or 75, but 100,000 points for a business class flight to Tokyo, it's not really that bad. I mean, it's not really that bad. And then you have Atmos, and this one was really, really broad. It was half. So 150,000 points at 330 days out, $11 in taxes and fees from SFO. And then 2 days out, so tomorrow, half the price, $75,000, $18 in taxes and fees from Chicago. So let me go back. I do have some, there's 46 still watching, 27 have hit the like button. Please do so if you haven't. A-tier, just listening to all the data. Good. Yeah, I know it's a lot of data. Sorry about that. But hopefully it'll be helpful to you. Bop, 8 these business class. I think you're asking, are these business class? Yes, these are only business class. That's why when it says NA, Of course, there'd be a United ticket anywhere in the world on any day. Of course, there's an American or any, a One World Alliance flight in economy class, but I'm only checking business class. So that's why some of them say NA. There wasn't a business class, or the only business class seats were like 450,000 points, which I got to the point where I wasn't counting those. So that's why they are. Okay. You just said it. Thanks. All right. A tier. I'm never ready to book that far out, and my family might revolt if I said, hey, we're going to Spain in 2 days. Yeah, I understand. Well, I'm going to tell you how to use this later. I understand that. But I'm building all of this for a reason, because I think it's a great strategy. I, however, would be happy to hop on a plane in 2 days. Yeah, I mean, we've done it. So it's not problematic. All right, so we did Tokyo. What's the next one? Singapore. So for Singapore, I couldn't find anything 330 days out. Now, there was some stuff like at the 327-day mark, 332-day mark, but I was trying to be very precise with the 330 days that the experts recommend and 2 days, which is last-minute booking. So I didn't find anything on any of them that was under like 400,000 points. So I didn't even include those. But 2 days out, this was crazy. American Airlines from Seattle had a 70,000 point ticket, $29 in taxes and fees. And United, Atmos, strangely didn't have anything. But United had a 110,000 point ticket and $18 in taxes and fees from Chicago. Now, 110 is not a great redemption, but I would pay that. I would pay 110,000 points for business class all the way to Singapore. That is a long, 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 long flight. So I would do that. Oh, Nona's here. Hey, baby. Awaken Travel joins us. Great to have you. If you haven't checked out her channel, make sure to do that. I think she's got 112 subscribers, 117. She is real excited when she gets more, though. So we got some new reviews of our last Vegas trip coming up real soon. All right. The next one is Bangkok. And this one is, again, 330 days out. Didn't find anything good in business class on any of them. 2 days out, AA, Atmos, nothing. But United did have a 110,000 point flight, $23 in taxes and fees from SFO. So not great, 110,000 points. But if that's the only way you're going to get there, I'd probably pay it to get to Bangkok. Again, a very, very, very long flight. And the last one on the list. So this is 10 different destinations. It's London, England. Very, very common place to go. So 330 days out, American Airlines, 330 days out is $5 in taxes and fees, but 138,000 points from Miami. But 2 days from now, it's 57,000 points, 57.5, $19 in taxes and fees from JFK. So if you're booking it 330 days out, it's 138,000 points. If you're booking it tomorrow, it's 57,000 points. United, same story. 200,000 points, $5 from Phoenix. And from IAD, tomorrow it's $88,000 points, $33 in taxes and fees. Atmos ends up being the same, just slightly lower taxes and fees. One out of Washington, D.C., and the other one out of Denver, both 55,000 points. So what is the conclusion of all this? So I'm going to get to that slide after I check and make sure that I've answered everybody's different comments. Okay, Nona says that weighing in travel, she has 121 subscribers now. Thank y'all. If you went over and subscribed, I appreciate it very much. Hurricane gives us a thumbs up. Free music. If these flights include a connection, or look only at the ones that have a few hours or less, I'm not sitting in an airport for a 10-hour connection. Yeah. I tried every single time. I've tried to get the one with that was direct if I could. And if not, I took the one that only had a one layover connection and it wasn't an overnight type of connection. So that was the standard I used. Thank you for music. I should have said that in the beginning. Source King. I don't have any real data, just anecdotal, but I've seen Atmos drop points prices day of and been able to rebook at lower prices a few times. Yep, that does happen. I mean, again, that's why I wanted to do this, because I hadn't had any data either. So this is kind of where it all ended up. Averages. American Airlines, and like I said, I didn't pick these places, and I used the same exact day. And for a business class flight, 330 days from now, American Airlines average is 133.57 points. And 2 days from now is 67.44 points, 1,000 points. That's the average of all 10 of them. United averaged at 202,083.83 points. And 2 days from now, it averaged out to 121.2 thousand points. And Alaska, on 330 days out, averaged at 132.14 thousand points. And 2 days from now, it lowered to 82.85 thousand points. So here is the conclusion to the matter. I think this proves that the conventional wisdom of book out as far as you can, and you should never have a stash of points. You should earn it and burn it as fast as you earn it, are both substantially wrong, at least for a certain type of traveler, because this has shown us that it is consistently, on average, cheaper to fly with one of these 3 American programs, US programs. It is cheaper to fly in business class from the US to these destinations in 2 days than it is almost a year out. I mean, that's what the data says. And I wasn't skewing it to say that. It's just what it says. That's what it is. Because these programs, now I don't think other programs do this, but the US programs will open up award saver space to fill the tickets, to fill the plane, because they'd rather have your award points than an empty seat. That seems to be what's happening. So I promised you, Source King, I think, asked about it. Here's the deal. The reason I'm saying to do this is not to say to your family, okay, as soon as you see the deal, hey, we're leaving in 2 days for Spain. I'm not meaning to do that. But what I do is if I find a good deal in one of these and we're planning to go specific time frame in the fall. Okay, Lenore and Nona and I already have this working out for ourselves in the fall. So I already have us tickets, and some of them are economy tickets, some of them are premium, some of them are business. And I'm constantly looking. And if I find something better, I'm going to cancel after I book this next one. So I need to have enough points to book and then cancel, not cancel, then book. Because if you do that, then sometimes you lose what you're booking because it goes away. So that's the first approach. The other approach is you need to have enough points to be watching close in. So if you're getting close in and you're traveling 3 days from now, I'm not suggesting you just drop everything and go where you find the deal. No. I'm suggesting that 2 days away, you're watching where you're going already. And you're seeing, does it drop? Because when I was doing this with Korea, it dropped. The business class seats started at 450,000 points. Then there were 200,000 points. Then there were 150,000 points. Then there were 125,000 points. And then 3 days before I left, there were 95,000 points. And then the day before I left, there were 75,000 points. And that's when I bought it. But I'd had a 95,000 one too. Canceled it after I bought the 75. See how this works? So having that big cash. So I have a cache of all these. I have hundreds of thousands in each one of these programs so that I have the ability to do this. And overall, it just ends up costing me less in the end than it would have. So that's what I've been trying to get across today. So let me know what you think. Let me go back to the comment section. I'm sure that now that you've absorbed all that information, that maybe it'll be valuable to somebody. We'll see. Source King. I don't have any real data, just any. Oh, yeah, we already looked at that one. JW Wade, AA points are very valuable. Thanks for compiling this. You're welcome. I hope it's helpful to you. Yay, Nona. She had 121 subscribers. So, yep, yay, Nona. Tampa Travel, did you select a particular day of the week? No, I selected 330 days out because That ended up being January the 10th, 2027. That was 330 days. I compiled this yesterday. So 330 days from yesterday, and then 2 days from yesterday, which is tomorrow. So those are the dates I use because that's the number. I mean, I've seen people say that for book as far out as you can, but almost everybody opens up about 330 days. So that's why I did 330 days, and then I did 2 days. So I hope that answers your question. A tier, I'm too new to the game dev stockpile for rebooking. That's my goal within the next couple of years. I've transferred my Bilt points first, though, so I feel good about that. Yeah, and Atmos is a good one to have stockpiled. And not everybody needs to do this. This is a late game play and strategy. This is not for somebody early game. So I'm glad you recognize that. Taciturn, good to have you here. So that's exactly what SkyKey does, but it's automatic. Okay, cool. But I see not many people use it. Yeah, I'm going to check it out, though, because if it's automatic, that's pretty cool. A Nurcan. So now I see why I can't get business class when I fly standby on AA. Those last-minute redemptions are killing me. That's me, man, because I'm waiting to the last minute. You're wanting to use an upgrade certificate and get up there, but I just bought it for 75,000 points. That's probably exactly what is happening. That's hilarious. Hey, Blinken says, good to have you here. Hey, I have been waffling about a pair of 350,000 tickets on United to Auckland. Sounds like your recommendation is just to book and hope they drop in the future. Well, if you got the points, there is no danger in booking. If you got plenty of points left over to be able to book stuff later. With United, there is no danger. And that's what people need to realize. Even with Delta, I didn't include them because they just never have good deals. So on business class, they do sometimes on economy and sometimes on premium economy. Well, at least not terrible deals on premium, but on business, I never saw a single one in this list. But Delta does allow cancellations very easily. And so with Delta or United or American or Alaska, you're going to pay the $12.50 with Alaska. But still, with any of those, I just book and don't worry about it because I can cancel. And then I've got something. Like I have one right now. In fact, that brings me to the last part. Thank you for bringing this up. I made a bad redemption on United with United points. So in this fall, we're going to go and I'm going to take Nona to Hong Kong, to Taiwan, and to Seoul, South Korea. So we're going to one, we're flying to another, we're flying to the other, and then we're flying home from there. So in some of those little inter-Asia business class flights, one of them I booked directly with Cathay Pacific, and I got a great redemption. It was like 27,000 points for a well over $1,000 flight. It ended up being like 4 cents per point to 5 cents per point. It was great. But another one I booked with United Miles, and it was like Asiana Airlines or something like that. And it wasn't that much, maybe 40,000 points a piece. But then when I checked Google Flights, it was like $350. You can buy those business class tickets for $350. And I'm like, oh man. And then what was crazy is that, yeah, that was, months in the future, but then they had it for $350 tomorrow and the next day and the next day. So clearly they never sell out of them. So I'm like, oh man, but I'm not worried about it. I'm going to just hang on to those terrible. It came out to less than a 1 cent per point redemption for a business class flight, less than 1 cent per point. I don't deserve the moniker of the rewards master if I do that, if I keep that, but it is with United. I'm not worried about it. I can just cancel it. I get all my points back, all my money back because it's with United. So that's what I was saying. Hey, is that's why you can, and you're totally safe. If you don't take it, that's fine. Hybrid Vortex, really appreciate the effort on this. I have seen Tuesday is normally slower. Is that common? Then Monday. Monday is a really busy day. Sunday seems to depends on the Sunday, but Monday and Friday seem to be really busy days. Wednesday and Tuesday seem to be a little slower, but that's just anecdotal. I mean, I don't know that there's data on it. All right, we got 47 watching. We're at 49 minutes, and that's kind of what I had for today. So I'm happy to chat for the next 10 minutes or so and answer any questions. that we made it through. I didn't have a lot of questions and a lot of comments during that. I think I was overloading you with data. So y'all forgive me for that. We have 47 watching, 29 have hit the like button. Silver 3, I booked premium economy on JAL through AA for $50K. That's a pretty good deal. Then I canceled it when I booked Cathay business class for $150K in January 6th. Didn't lose anything with AA because of free cancellations. That's exactly what I'm saying to do. That's exactly what I'm saying to do. It's perfect. I mean, it's like a win-win. And for those of us who know how to search and know how to use all these programs, man, we just can't lose. So Silver, you did exactly what I'm proposing. But to do that, you got to have a big pool of points. And that's the thing, is that everybody who's advising everybody will just earn and burn. Use them as soon as you get them. I'm like, yeah, then you're constantly points poor. And then you can't get the good deals when you see them. I mean, I don't know. I've always found that's just a really interesting piece of advice that everybody's always saying. And I understand they want devaluations, but no one would give anybody that advice with real money. I followed your advice. Great strategy, to be honest. Good. I'm glad you used it. I'm telling you, it works for me. I do it all the time. But you can't do it with aero. Now, I fly with airplane points. I fly with all these others for sure. But it's when I know I'm going to take that flight. I don't do this kind of goofing around with it, buying, trading, canceling. You can only do that with those 4. I think you can with JetBlue too, but you can only do that with those, because that is not going to work with these foreign carriers that charge you $70 or $100 to cancel, because then it would suddenly not be cost effective anymore. So Silver, I'm glad it was helpful to you. All right. Any other comments? I don't think we have any more in there, even though we do have 50 people in here. A-tier, love the data. Thank you. Appreciate it. Glad you did. It took a little while to compile, but I know I'm the only guy preaching this, it seems like. I mean, are there any others y'all know of that really preach this? But I'm telling you, I was going to Korea. I made it 75,000 points each way in business class. I think 150,000 points round trip that you bought the day before is pretty good in business class all the way halfway around the world. And it's only this strategy that can make that happen. SJDP, any sense of how often 2+ are available 2 days out? On about 2/3 of these, there was 2+ available, because points.aero is what I was using for most of it. And then I was double checking it on the different airline apps. But on about 2/3 of them, there were 2 available. Now, let me say this. If you're trying to get 4, I mean, I don't know that this strategy is going to work for 4. It can work for 2, and it really works for 1. For a solo traveler, man, you can just go. You could probably get anywhere cheap in business class for a solo traveler. For 2, I think it's going to work about half the time to 65% of the time. I hope that answers your question, SJ. But yeah, that's kind of what I found. For 1, it's pretty easy, but for 2, it's a little harder, but not impossible. But man, if you're trying to do a family of 3 or 4, it's going to get infinitely tougher, for sure. All right, since I think that's the last comment of the day, I want to thank everybody for being here again on this Sunday afternoon. Thank you, SJ. SJDP gifted 5 Rewards Master memberships. I know. Appreciate that very much. Thank you for everybody for being here. Thank you for going over to Awagan Travels and subscribing to Nona's channel. It makes her excited. And I appreciate every single one of you. If you're not a channel member, consider that. I do special videos just for my members at least once a week. I also early release all my videos. And then I have the Spreadsheet Warrior tier. And that is $19.99 a month. But that one includes at least once a month. This month we have 2 scheduled Zoom calls. So we're talking face-to-face. We're interacting in that way. And then those are recorded and they're archived for Spreadsheet Warriors in the future. So if you would like to, you could consider that as well. Of course, any of them are canceled anytime you like. Appreciate every single one of you. And I will see you here next time.